Alright everyone, welcome back to another 10-minute game. I'm kind of on the fence how I feel about the whole name blocker thing. Like, I did a bad job of blocking people's names in the very beginning, but you can't message people on this game. You can only try to add them as a friend, so I think I might just stop doing that, because I'm not really saving or protecting anyone. And also, this channel has like no subscribers anyway. Hopefully that'll change as I do this more consistently. Man, I did not like how the last match ended up, and instead of being discouraged and walking away from it, I'm just gonna play another game and try to do better. Also, for anybody who doesn't know, I'll try to do a video on setting Shogi Wars up for English because originally the UI is in Japanese. You have to go through a couple menus to get everything in English. So, okay, bring up your bishop. Yep. Go ahead and do that. Kind of bring it. Really? On up. So what is he doing? He is primitive climbing silver. I need to watch out for that. I probably should have gone, when I saw that in the beginning, I should have probably gone, like, fourth file rook. Yep. I was gonna, I could go here. Or... like... could force his rook to defend this and remove his rook from the equation at the moment. Or maybe not. Push. Let's need to open this up so I can bring the bishop back down. Like I don't need it trapped there. Try to go for Yaguda. What are you aiming at? That square? Okay. And you're gonna put a... gonna try to force this pawn exchange so he can drop a pawn here, I think. But I want to protect that square too. I'm gonna take with silver, take with the bishop, and it's gonna try to come over here. Like, I don't think he's gonna take with the silver. That won't be good for him. Okay. What do you have? Like, now I can promote here and threaten your silver and threaten your bishop at the same time. Like, I don't feel like that was a good... I mean, my bishop drop earlier was not a good move either. Okay, so you're gonna do that. I do have a free silver in hand. Maybe threaten these two at the same time. Is that a good idea? Let's find out. I mean, I could take... You gonna do a pawn drop down here or something? I'm really confused as what he's doing. So... I want a knight drop here, threatening this square. The knight takes, take. And then this bishop is being threatened. Okay. Do I have a response to? Oh, I mean, let's do that instead.
ふんどしの刑
Fundoshi no ke. Splitting two pieces with a knight came up. Oh, so the promoted rook and the promoted bishops have kind of different names. Oh, sorry, bishop and rook have kind of different names when they're promoted. Gonna take with a pawn. Yep. I really want this fork here. Like, I want to. He could just, like, if I drop a bishop here, he could just drop his bishop there. I'd also drop the bishop here. And that would threaten his rook. He might go
7
for
分
king first. I could take that. But even if not, I can pull back to here and get it promoted. I'd take this. I'm kind of worried about ignoring this right now. I wish this knight wasn't there. Like, I don't have a really good way of forcing the knight to move. Go about this. Even if... Oh no, let's go for that. See what happens. He takes, I promote. He moves over. I threaten a bishop drop right here. Take the gold back. Just take the gold. Or if he does that, do a bishop drop here. I mean, this forks the rook and the king. You could move the rook here. And then I can drop another bishop here. Oh wait, I don't have a bishop. He's going to be stacking his rook. Protect that, right? That's my guess. That would be the smarter move to do, is just sack, or, I mean, it's really an exchange, it's not a sack. Or, sure, I guess. Silver drop. Yep. And then just back up. And then start castling this way. So if you're gonna do that, you could do a rook drop here. I did have two knights. I wish this pawn wasn't here. I do need to eventually get this way. Yeah, let's go with that. Might do a pawn drop here. Or not.
5分
He's threatening the king. I do want to castle this way now, because he's going to take that. Then I have to move over. I wish that rook wasn't there, though. Or that bishop wasn't there. I move this over and then promote this. If I move this over, he has to move his bishop because my rook is facing it. And then if I promote here, he'll run down this way and then move my bishop. And then he'll have to run this way, probably. And move my bishop down. Really? Okay, so you're gonna go that way. I mean, if I do that, he can just drop the pawn. So he is amassing an attack here. I'm trying to figure out how I want to finish this. Like, we go. Do that first, and then drop down one, or check. He's gonna move up. If I do a knight drop, you can just run. I'll take this first. Make sure I'm not like leaving myself open for an attack either. Could take this now and threaten my rook here. Now he's defending. What a knight drop. Will he just run? I'm gonna knight drop here too. It's not quite a threat because he takes, I take, and he doesn't really still have much there. I mean, no, just you have no other pieces. That's a free bishop. He's taking pieces because he's a little bit desperate. He can't take that. Or I guess he will.
お前の勝ちだ。
Okay. Well, it was still a little bit all over the place, but cool, rank up. It was a little bit better than okay, so Kishin to get more Kishin tickets. How many do I even have? I wonder. See about now. So Shogi Wars kind of changed the way that they have their Kifu online, and also the way that like a lot of programs I used to use that would normally pull the Kifu down the match analysis or the match. Do I have 0 to use? Oh no. His favorite game results. Most recent one. First, so they changed a lot of the way that they do the website for when you go back and look at a match. So pulling this like Kifu down is a little bit harder, and also converting it to a format that things like Shogi Dokoro can use, and you can use an engine to analyze it. I'll probably write a web scraper here soon in C#, or maybe Python, so it's more people can run it. Actually, Mono is on Mac. You can get .NET libraries for Mac. I don't know. Maybe I'll still do C#. To just scrape for games and create a Kifu out of it. So start going for Boat Castle. I have no idea. Like, I don't feel like that's a good move just for positioning. I feel like moving the silver over is probably a better one. Like moving silver. Oh, I also never talked about notation here. Notice how everything's just numbers. And similarly here in Japanese notation, the first number is a regular number and the second number is done in kanji normally. So like 3-7 wouldn't just be 3, the number 3 and number 7. In English notation, they usually use letters. So it'd be like 1A for 1-1 and 9I for this corner. But yeah, for the way that he's going right now, honestly, it's usually better to move your silver this way, especially if you want a castle, any type of, which he's already heading this way, but any type of static rook castle. I feel like that also blocks the bishop possibly going back this way, and you can't open up this center diagonal to come back. So standard climbing silver. Though the problem with climbing silver that you normally do, that because you saw in his screen came up, his strategy is normally climbing silver. You're supposed to bring this pawn all the way up and do a pawn exchange, move the rook back, and then have the silver come straight up here. At least up to here, usually you'll have the pawn here and then pawn here. And so if this one's pushed, you have these like pawns in an angle that are like separated by one square. And that makes it so the silver can come up straight and then this way, and you can do these multiple pawn exchanges all the way up. It's a very straightforward and simple tactic, climbing silver, but I don't quite know what he was going with here. This is just the general, I don't want your bishop to freely be able to come over here side pawn push. So yeah, I don't know what kind of castle he's trying to go for or what he's doing. He moved both of his generals up like straightforward. Boat castle, normally you would move this one up and move the silver here, keep the gold back, and then move the king up. Like, yeah, this gold would still be here. And you'll see me, is that the right one? Yeah, you'll see me do similar here. And this gold actually comes up this way. This was gold this way and silver this way. I'm not quite sure like what he was going for. He didn't seem like he was actually castling the whole time. I'm surprised he didn't take with the knight. I can kind of understand wanting to protect this square, so maybe that's probably the better move. Honestly, this is also the other reason why the silver is better, because if your silver's here and you have to do an exchange and you still have something like keeping the silver protected, silvers can always go back diagonal. It's also the reason why silvers are usually used as attacking pieces, because while you have all of these diagonals going on, the silver can move in and out of these pieces easily. Where golds always have to retreat backwards, you know, only has one option for retreating backwards. This wasn't that great of a move. He could have just developed. I honestly think the better move would have been to develop the knight here. But like still wanted to see what he was going for. And then I wanted to protect this square. Not sure what he was going for here. Maybe he was just trying to take the... Like, I honestly thought that what he was going to do, what I thought would have been a smarter move, is after he did that, he would have pawn pushed here and sacrificed it. Actually, no, wait, he can't, can he? Because he doesn't have a pawn in hand. So disregard that. He's actually not able, like, he can't do the pawn exchange here because his rook's not paying attention to this square. He can't take this pawn anymore. So actually, like, this move really wasn't that good. If he actually had a pawn in hand, he could have sacrificed this pawn and then dropped the pawn here, and then he could have moved the gold up. Though, once again, like, it would have been better if it was a silver. But it also looks like he wants to castle this way. So you don't want, like, if you notice, his king is still on the regular first square. His golds are already up on his third rank. So there's really not a castle going on here. And he's kind of, his pieces are in disarray. My king is well protected. I could have done a little bit better job when he started attacking, but... So I wasn't quite sure about this. Yeah, he had to protect that square. The take, there wasn't much he can do. This is also a non-threat. I mean, I have a silver here. I have a bishop here. If he promotes, I can just take with king, and there's nothing he can do about it. So I wasn't quite sure what he was trying to start for the attack there. So took the knight. And then I'm not sure if this was like the right move at all. Like, I could have just pulled the bishop back, maybe, and that would have possibly been a better move. His bishop personally, his bishop personally doesn't have anywhere to go. Like, you have these, like, this square, I guess, he can run away to, and that's kind of it. So if I had pulled it back here and maybe done the knight drop here, or I don't know, like, this isn't necessarily bad, but and my camp is my camp is better set up for against any type of drop at the moment. He can't even do a bishop drop here because of the fact that I can just take with the silver. If he did a bishop drop here, I mean, that doesn't really do him any favors. It just has to sit there, and then all it takes is like one gold move back, and all of a sudden that bishop's dead. So he doesn't have the ability to drop. I had drop options, so I felt like this was the smarter thing to do. But it does get rid of a bishop and a knight for the sake of a bishop exchange. And so I'm not sure. Like, that's a bad exchange on my part. And like, I'm not entirely sure what he was going for here. I could have kind of forced the issue of pushing my silver up to clash against the gold, but then he could have put his gold here. I mean, honestly, he could still do that. Like, gold, silver takes, rook takes, and then he would have had a better developed kind of situation. Yeah, I'm not sure what this knight drop was specifically. And also here, like, he dropped the bishop to save, I guess, kind of save the rook, because he was hoping that I would just take the bishop because it would be an equal exchange and would make it less confusing. But honestly, if you look at his camp, it's so vulnerable to rook drops right now that bishop, like, keeping the bishop wouldn't have been pointless. Also, I don't have to do an exchange if I just take... Yeah, so that was simple enough. And wanted to check. Let's see. So take the lance. I'm not sure if that was actually a really good idea. I didn't need the lance, and when I was pressuring him later, it could have been nice to have his king not have a square I could run away to, make it a little bit more difficult. But it takes the knight. From here, I feel like he does still have the gold there, so I can kind of understand. Like, I kind of maybe should have moved this here. The biggest annoyance I had with this game, with the way I played it, is if you notice my rook, like, I did get to take his rook, but my rook's not personally doing anything. It is, like, negligent. It is not not being attended to in this fight. It did force him to kind of keep these pieces here, but notice his king isn't castled and it's currently completely exposed. It's also the reason why I did this move, expecting him to take the rook or do the rook, and it would have been a rook bishop exchange. And if he had gone here, that leaves his camp kind of open. Like his king can't castle anymore. Not sure what I would have done afterwards. Like, I can't really do a knight drop because his gold's there. And once again, this pawn is in the way, so I can't do like a fork of the pieces. But anyway, so yeah, I don't think that lance was that useful. I technically could have dropped a knight here to block the diagonal, so like this would have been a non-issue, and I also threatened the silver. That's the other thing that I think people make a lot of mistakes on is, like, so these are his starting pieces, and they're all the way up here. They're slow pieces. They only move one at a time. I feel like he could have focused more on causing exchanges or using pieces in hand, but I don't know what. So, like, we're both ignoring each other's attacks at the moment. So then I take that. I don't feel like this was actually a good move. I should have just moved the gold here, personally, because then I could have still had the silver to threaten and drop here, but maybe not. Also could have. Yeah, so he does that, and I do the knight drop, and he runs away. Protect the knight. He does a knight drop, which, like, I almost ignored and just kept attacking, but this is a freebie. Like, oh wait, I did ignore it. Huh, I should have taken that. Like, so here's the thing about, he has no other pieces in hand, and here's the thing about knights. Silvers on the head kill it instantly. So if I move my silver here, either square that his knight goes to, it's dead. So it's ineffectual. It's not going to do anything. That would have been the smarter plan, but I was so focused on attacking that. I mean, he really didn't have much here either. He did the same thing, or they did the same thing. I'm assuming it's a guy, and that's bad. Yeah, he kept ignoring my attacks, so this kind of happened. And honestly, like, he couldn't come back this way. He can't go this way. He can't come up. Like, he can't go this way because my piece is blocking. He can't, like, move at all, so he can only take it. So I guess that, I mean, really is the right move anyway. But the gold drop on the head is going to be the death of it. If I had taken that there, like, he wouldn't have had anything. Like, it honestly is what I should have done. I would have taken it, and then he would have just taken the lance out of, like, desperation. And then same thing would have happened, is I would have just taken this gold, he would have taken with the silver, then I would have just dropped the gold there. But this was an oversight I shouldn't have done, regardless of how ineffectual his attack is. Maybe I should have still just, because I still had to respond to his attack after, right? So I should have just taken here, just stopped the attack completely. And he only has pawns in hand, so, like, pawns are strong pieces, don't get me wrong, ever. Pawns are incredibly strong, but he doesn't really have an attack here. So, yeah. So, goes to checkmate, and that's it. Ended with 3 seconds left and 52 seconds on his side. Like, I think as far as strength-wise goes, like I said, 4 Dan is free. Or 4Q, not Dan. 4Q, all the way up to 4Q is free. Like, you can't get demoted, you don't really lose points. As long as you win a match, for the most part, you'll be promoted all the way up until that point. And then you have to consistently win. When I was playing on 81 Dojo, which is another great, incredibly good Shogi online, like, versus program, or just web app, you can also get it on your phone. So you can get this on your phone as well. But 81 Dojo, I was, like, stuck at 6Q all the time, so I would say that's probably about realistic where my rank is. I don't know how many games this guy has personally done. They have personally done, so I don't know if they're actually a 6Q or if, they're just stuck there because they can't really beat anybody past this level. I still really enjoy the game. I mean, it wasn't like they played bad shogi. It's just if his pieces, I need to stop saying that. Their pieces just were never, like other than the king, what's protecting this gold? Oh, I guess he kind of has the rook there, but like you want to keep your piece structures in a way that they're interconnected and they're all, being cohesive with each other. Like he's starting to like slowly move everything away from his king. And that's kind of like why I didn't expect this move right here. I was expecting a knight, because developing the knight is a good thing. You actually want it as an attacking piece, but taking a defensive piece like a gold, golds are great for defensive pieces. They're also amazing for checkmating. So if you can capture a gold, that's really good for you. But like if you notice, his king's just completely abandoned. Like if I were somehow able to get a rook this early, this rook drop right here, like destroys him entirely. It gives me free access to these pieces. Yeah, like it's not his piece structure is kind of like in disarray. And like what he's aiming at, I feel like needs to be a little bit more. And like some of the sacrifices didn't make sense. I mean, this is coming from the fact that I made bad sacrifices in my previous games, but like he really wanted to force the issue on this square, which I don't understand. He could have, pushed this pawn up. Like, there was no reason for. I didn't have a reason to attack. He didn't have a reason. They didn't have a reason to attack. I hadn't developed my other pieces yet, so there wasn't necessarily a requirement. Like, I hadn't opened up this diagonal yet, which would have been one of my moves to make sure that my bishop can freely move around. The side pawns haven't been pushed yet. That could have been something that they could have done, because now you have a silver here, so you can, force the issue, drop the silver, lance takes, and now he has this extra lance in hand, which is a very good attacking piece. When you have it in hand, you can force issues. They could have dropped the lance here, right? Because then my rook is completely screwed on this one, because if it moves out of the side, it takes the knight for free. Like there were a lot of other options for attacking in other areas, but it's almost like they got it in their head that this was the attacking column and they needed to keep doing that. Another thing that's possible I guess since I did that bishop drop, not really, but since this is like all, if this gold wasn't here, if the knight was here, the knight could have been developed to here, and though it would block the bishop's diagonal momentarily, it at least is attacking the pieces that, on the column that he wants to attack on. And I feel like this kind of whole push was because of this frustration that the rook wasn't really doing anything. The rook was blocked. But, like they had to defend this piece. They tried to attack here, but because now, okay, cool, I got my rook free. And it just didn't work out. I still made mistakes. I need to look over all of this, but yeah, that was another match. Thankfully, it wasn't filled with bad moves or against an opponent that just can absolutely crush me. So hopefully this was fun watching. Hopefully you learned something. Oh no, sorry, real quick, I didn't explain. A promoted rook is called a dragon, and a promoted bishop is called a horse. Just, I always lose my mind when I'm playing these games and forget what I was saying. So, yeah, I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching.